Hi, new friends. My name is Scot Longyear. I am a pastor in Indiana. I'm actually a friend of Ron Keegan's, a fan of Beth Keegan's. Don't get those two confused when it comes to Ron because it could be crazy. Ron's a good friend and excited about what's going on there in Greece. And Ron's been keeping me up to date and says that it just sounds like you guys are under a lot of pressure, a lot of hard things that are happening, a lot of tough things that are going on. You know, one of my mentors long ago said that when things became really difficult for him, or he knew that he was in a season where his schedule was going to be crazy and he would be tempted not to exercise, that he would actually up his exercise. I'm like, well, that's a little bit nuts. I don't know how that can really happen. And he said, you know, if I know I'm going into a season where I'm not going to have a lot of time with the Lord, then I make more time with the Lord. I like increase my devotional time. And I'm like, well, on paper, that doesn't seem to make sense, and it doesn't seem to calculate that you could actually do that, because most of the time when things get busy, our spiritual disciplines get completely knocked off. And it's really a dangerous, dangerous place to be. So only one verse I want to share with you today, and that's out of Mark chapter 1 in verse 35. Mark chapter 1, verse 35. And Mark records this about the life of Jesus. Now, thinking about the life of Jesus and a life of being very busy, being overwhelmed, being disappointed in people, having tons of things going on. Mark 1 in verse 35. Very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went off to a solitary place where he prayed. It says that he went off to a solitary place. And as you're reading through the Gospels, what you'll see a lot of times is that Jesus, it says, often withdrew to a solitary place, which means that Jesus, we know that he was probably under increased pressure, but Jesus would intentionally walk away from work that could be done for the kingdom so that he could spend time in the solitary place. There would have been people to heal. There would have been more people to teach. There would have been more people to interact with. And you could make the case that, like, well, Jesus needs to work and he needs to get these things done. But he often withdrew to a solitary place. Why? Because Jesus knew that his effectiveness in the public arena would be directly connected to his time in the solitary place. I'll say that again. His effectiveness in the public arena would be tied to his time in the solitary place. Listen, you're in the public arena pretty much from the time you get up until you go to bed, and you have more needs than you can meet. And I'll just ask you this. When was the last time you were in the solitary place with the Lord? When's the last time that you were alone with the Father? And you say, well, Scott, man, I'm too busy, man. I got too much going on. The needs are too great. There's too many pressures. And I'm just telling you that you will be more effective in the public arena when you spend time in the solitary place. And so can I encourage you every day to take some moments in the solitary place? It may be 5 minutes, it may be 10 minutes or 15 minutes or a half an hour. Say, man, I don't have time. I'm busy from the time I get up to the time I go to bed. It says in Mark 1 that Jesus withdrew to the solitary place. When did he do that? He did it before the sun got up. It says early in the morning while it was still dark outside. What are you usually doing when it's still dark outside? What am I usually doing when it's still dark outside? Usually I'm sleeping. I wonder if maybe we could recapture some of the time in the solitary place and steal it away from some of our time where we're sleeping. I'm actually sending you this video from Texas. I'm from Indiana, but I'm in Texas right now. I withdraw once a year to a solitary place for a time of praying and preparation and study for the coming year. And it's difficult to get into sometimes. And so for a few days, I'm just here and I'm unpacking some things, and it's hard. You know, it's not easy because it's like I want to do and I want to go and I want to do that, but we need to slow down into that solitary place. You're like, well, nice wish for you, Scott, or nice wish for me. I mean, I can't do that because I'm working, but I'm telling you that even if you can't get away for a few days, you can still spend some moments with the Father in the solitary place. I think he has things he wants to speak to you there. There are internal things that you're wrestling with that you're not able to share with the bigger group. There are things that you're wondering about the Lord. There are things that he wants to speak to you that he will only speak to you in this solitary time. So can I just encourage you to do whatever you can to get to the solitary place? And by the way, these devotional times don't count as the solitary place. The solitary place is a place where it's just you and it's the Lord. And you may just start by saying, Lord, this is weird. I just want to listen to what you have to say. Read some scripture, pray, and just listen to what the Father has to say, because my guess is that he has some very deep things to say to you. And I'm confident that the things that he'll speak to you and the quality that come from those solitary times will play themselves out well in the public arena, and you'll actually be able to lead people a step closer to Christ because you've been with him in the quiet time.